In tonight's Tax Insider, earmarks and the continuing resolution. A bipartisan 11th hour deal reopened the government. It set hundreds of thousands of federal employees back to work, opened museums, and averted the debt ceiling. But at what cost? For answers, we turn to our guest on Capitol Insider, David Williams, president of the nonpartisan Taxpayers Protection Alliance. The continuing resolution that opened the government also provided more than $2 billion for a dam project in Kentucky. That's D-A-M, maybe also D-A-M-N. Senate Minority Leader Mitch McConnell is from Kentucky. He was crucial that is, of passing the bill. Is this pork, Dave, and it's a dam project or whatever?
Well, it is pork, and if it looks like pork, smells like pork, walks like pork, it's pork. This is one big pig, because it went from $775 million to $2.3 billion, which is $1.6 billion that's added magically in the CR, and this is in Mitch McConnell's state, and this is just it's damn pork.
Now, the CR seems to be full of extraneous spending. Last time you were here, we discussed earmarks and Obamacare. Some analysts argue that pork barrel projects are necessary to grease the wheels of some politicians. Are we seeing a rebirth in the earmark trend?
I don't think so. Let's look back at 1996, the last time we had a prolonged government shutdown. Is that Newt Gingrich, after that shutdown, he went to the Appropriations Committee and said, I want you to send earmarks back to these vulnerable freshmen, the Republican freshmen, to get them reelected. That is not going to happen again, because John Boehner, first of all, earmarks has been a moratorium on earmarks. And could you imagine John Boehner going to the Tea Party folks and saying, listen, I want to send earmarks back to your district to help you with your reelection? It's just not going to happen. So being glass half full here, I really don't think earmarks are going to make that big of a comeback at all.
You don't think, but what, we can't pay people off anymore. That's the problem. Yeah, we don't like earmarks, but if it would have gotten the Tea Partiers on board, maybe that's a good thing. But you're saying that they wouldn't accept them anyway, that they're too noble to accept earmarks, or it's just not going to work?
It's no longer a badge of honor. Earmarks are not a badge of honor anymore.
Yep. All right, let's switch gears. The next deadline facing the country is fast approaching. In January, Congress will have to pass a budget to fund the government. Tea Party Senator Ted Cruz isn't ruling out another shutdown. Now, how could that impact already agitated Americans, Dave?
Well, I don't think there's going to be another shutdown. I think Ted Cruz and some of the Tea Party folks are going to do what they think they have to do to raise the idea of spending and spending cuts. But let's look what happened that the past 2.5 weeks. The Republican image, the Republican Party, boy, they just lost a lot of credibility with folks. And leading up to the shutdown, the Republican Party thought, well, people don't trust government. They want a smaller government, so a shutdown is not going to make that big of a deal. But guess what? People, as much as they want government to go away, they still want it at least around in some form. So I think that kind of backfired on the Republicans, and I don't see them making the same mistake in January. 2014, January is going to be 2014, an election year. Right. And this isn't limbo. How low can you go with your approval ratings? Exactly. So I think the Republicans really aren't going to offer much resistance to a budget deal. Before you go, let's talk about health care. In a recent article, you called Obamacare substandard medical care. Here's a quote. It's important that we not let the technical issues with the rollout distract from the far worse consequences of the law that loom on the horizon, including a movement to redefine what constitutes a doctor. Now, what do you mean by that? Well, this is fascinating because everyone's been distracted by the website, but even before the website was created, this was a bad bill. Obamacare was a bad bill. And we're seeing some states are trying to substitute medical coverage. And what do I mean by that? That pharmacists, optometrists, and other non-doctors will be able to perform certain operations, like eye surgery, and to take optometrists as the example. Right. And while this might save money in the very, very short run, it's not going to save money in the long run. And do you want someone, an optometrist, who's only had about 3,000 hours of training versus a surgeon who's had 17,000 hours? So they're trying to cut corners, and I don't know if I want my doctor cutting corners when it comes to treating me for my health care needs. Whenever I go to the doctor, I try to lighten it up and do a joke, and I say, have you done this before? They used to think it was a joke. Now they think I'm serious, so you've got a point there. Dave Williams, president of the nonpartisan Taxpayers Protection Alliance. Thanks, Dave. Thank you.